Elizabeth, do you know when Tiffany is logging on?
I can check in real quick.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
It's 6 p.m.
Yes, we're just waiting on one more staff member to get started.
Okay.
She will deny.
I haven't heard back from Tiffany yet, but maybe we should start with the poll, Flora. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. So, folks, I'm just gonna launch a quick poll to everyone's screens. You're gonna see a question that just says, tell us more about yourself. Who are you? And we just want you to select one of these options, just so we know what kind of folks we have here in this meeting with us. So should be on your screen now. Go ahead and take a second to answer that question and then hit submit. Thank you. Okay, looks like we got a good chunk of you. So I'm going to go ahead and share these results. So it looks like a vast majority are here because you're interested in purchasing a home, which is awesome. We are so excited to have you. And we have just one realtor, a few interested citizens, a few affordable housing folks. So we're very happy to see all of you here and really excited to teach you a little bit more about the CLT.
Tiffany should be on any moment.
Cool.
Let's see, maybe I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Munyon, and if you've already submitted an application, you probably have spoke to me. I'm the AmeriCorps Vista, and I help with the applications and the info sessions, getting folks applications complete and put on our applicant pool.
And my name is Flora Valdez de Pena. I am
Oops, Flora, we can't hear you.
Oh, that's hello. Can you hear me?
No, I can. Yes.
Okay. I am Flora Valdez de Pena. I am the admin communications events type person for the CLT. So if you get any of our MailChimp emails, our social media posts on Twitter and Facebook and everything, that's all me. And I also help run the Zoom account, which is why I'm here. So nice to meet all of you. It's good to see so many people interested in the CLT. And I think we have Tiffany here. Hi, Tiffany.
Hey Flora, how you doing? Hi everybody. My name is Tiffany Haynes and I am the Director of Home Buyer and Community Engagement currently. And so yeah, I'm presuming that Flora just introduced themselves and Elizabeth just introduced herself, and I am going to share my screen. Were our lenders able to introduce themselves?
Oh, not yet. If we have any lenders or realtors on the call, feel free to introduce yourselves now, folks.
Hi, this is Cynthia Taylor. I am a lender with Virginia Credit Union, involved greatly with the CLT homes, and I'm happy to help anyone that is interested in getting pre-qualified or get some more information. Again, my name's Cynthia Taylor, Virginia Credit Union.
Hi, this is Mary White with Town Bank Mortgage. And just as Cynthia, I have been involved with Maggie Walker Community Land Trust actually since it began, before it actually rolled out for everybody. And so I'm happy to work with folks and see what we can do to get you qualified to purchase your home.
Hi, this is Viva Moore, and like Cynthia and Mary, I've been working with Maggie Walker Community Land Trust for some time now. I am the mortgage loan officer contact for Fulton Mortgage. And look forward to speaking with you soon.
Hi, everyone. I am Jan Cox. I am the listing agent with the MWCLT program. Just as the lenders before me, I've been working with the CLT for about 4 years, and I assist buyers and sellers or anyone who's interested in purchasing or selling a home through the program.
Hi, this is Tanya Irizarry from Department of Commerce Federal Credit Union. I've also been involved with the Maggie Walker CLT since the inception, and I'm super excited to be here and help you guys in any way I can. Thank you.
This is really nice. It's been a while since we've had most of our lenders on the call, so it's really exciting to see everyone on there. And thank you so much for taking the time to introduce yourselves. And I am going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can get this presentation started. And everyone had the opportunity to introduce themselves, right? The lenders, our realtor, Flora. Okay, thank you.
And we did the poll already as well.
All righty, that works for me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to share this one right here. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
What did you see at first? Because it sounds so weird.
Oh, I'm sorry. Something's wrong with my audio. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
And I can
That's
see
embarrassing.
this. I can see the presentation.
Yeah, I can see it as well.
All righty. Okay, so Elizabeth did the poll. I'm gonna go ahead to the next slide. All right, so these are two of our resources available to you, whether you are working with us or not. Commonwealth Catholic Charities offers free one-on-one credit counseling services, and then the Housing Resource Line can connect you with a number of resources related to housing. So today we're going to be going over quite a few things, but if you hang tight with me, you'll get all you need before you leave today. We'll be going over what's a CLT to include, who's eligible and some of the benefits, the program details, so your process of applying through our program, and details of our program and how to go about applying. And Elizabeth is the person who will be working with you closely on your application. So I just wanted to highlight that, while we were right here. And anyone who's not speaking, if you can mute your mic for the moment, until, yes, thank you so much. All right. So I am going to, we've already done this, right? Okay. So I'm going to move us to our next question. What excites you about homeownership? And don't be shy. Answer, you can answer it out loud or you can drop it in the chat. All is welcome. And I can start us off. For me, what excites me is having your own space. I have a kid, so being able to have my space where my neighbor downstairs doesn't complain about my kid walking, that is a blessing to home ownership for me if I were to move into that. Anyone else want to share?
Some answers in the chat. Not having to throw money away on rent, which I totally agree with. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's the American dream, generational wealth, having something to leave to your children, having your own space, and the way, the way rent is going up. Totally agree. More space and legacy for your children and your grandchildren. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for reading those. Thank you, Flora. Okay. Oh, did someone want to answer? I'm sorry, did someone want to answer the question out loud?
Yeah, I wanted to answer. I just wanted to say, basically everything that everyone else is saying, you know, is the generational wealth. I have a 4-year-old, so my goal is to provide him with his own space, somewhere he can play, you know, in his own backyard with his dog, without anyone complaining, and to eventually maybe leave my house to my son.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Carlinda, is that? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move to the next question. I know we have many lovely people who dropped an answer in the chat, but we're going to move to the next question. All right. So what about homeownership makes you nervous?
Being a senior, this is Alicia
Not
Venable.
being able to afford it.
This is Alicia Venable. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Being a senior citizen and being on a fixed income.
That's a very valid concern. All of you guys' concern are very valid. In the chat, we have not getting approved, the interest rate. Flora or Elizabeth, did you want to, did anything else stand out?
Repairs, unexpected repairs, not being able to call the landlord to fix something, having to pay for insurance. Yeah. Yeah, finding a house that you can afford in this market. Yeah.
And what I will say is our homes are very affordable. We do our best to make sure that they have enough subsidy and they're at a place where our applicants can actually afford it. And our lenders who are on the call work diligently with our applicants to get them approved for the amount that they need, in addition to any kind of down payment assistance or anything that might be, you know, helpful for them. And Elizabeth will be touching bases on that with you a little later in the presentation. And thank you everybody for being vulnerable enough to share that with everyone on this call. So now I'm going to move into a little bit about the lady who kind of just outlines or gives us purpose in our program. So Maggie Walker is the first Black woman to establish a bank and the first to serve as a president of a bank in the United States. And not only was she an amazing businesswoman, she lifted the community with her. She empowered Black families and created opportunities for them to have stability and economic mobility. And she also was an innovative and visionary leader. Now, Maggie Walker not only had an impact and created opportunities for her community, she made intergenerational investments. She paved the way for not only Black business owners and community leaders, but for Black women who at the time were not deemed worthy of having a seat at the table. All right, so you probably know about the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust through our work with permanent affordable housing, which we will be talking about tonight. And we also operate the Richmond Land Bank, which puts vacant properties into strategic community uses. And the Citizens Advisory Panel makes decisions about the land in the land bank. You can participate in those meetings by going to our the Richmond House. I'm sorry. You can find more information about the land bank at the richmondlandbank.com, and Flora or Elizabeth will be dropping that link in the chat. Thank you, Flora. Okay. All right, so a little bit more about the CLT. A CLT is, or community land trust, is a way to help families afford homeownership now and in the future. A community land trust reduces the cost of homeownership and keeps the homes affordable for future buyers. Community land trusts are nonprofit organizations governed by a board of community land trust residents, community residents, and public representatives that provide lasting community assets and shared equity homeownership opportunities for families and communities. CLTs are developed CLTs develop rural and urban agriculture projects, commercial spaces to serve local communities, affordable rental and cooperative housing projects, and conserve land and or urban green spaces. However, the heart of their work is the creation of homes that remains permanently affordable, providing successful homeownership opportunities for generations of low-income families. Now, if you're interested in learning more about community land trusts, you could visit the Grounded Solutions website, where it does go more into what a CLT is, but that's just the surface for you. Now, community land trusts were developed in the US, and there are currently over 350 community land trusts nationwide in 45 states and the District of Columbia. Can you see? All right, so this is a map of where those 350 land trusts are located. And this, the first CLT was actually in Albany, Georgia, and it evolved out of the civil rights movement, where Black citizens who were sharecroppers were getting kicked out of their homes when their white landlords found out they had registered to vote. So they were being put out because they exercised their rights, essentially. So Black activists bought a large farm, and the intention was to farm the land together while everyone owned their homes on that shared land. All right. So now we're going to go over the resale, just a brief overview of what the initial purchase and resale would look like. So when you buy a home on the conventional market, you're purchasing the house, and implicitly you purchase the land beneath it. But with a CLT home, you purchase the house, but the land remains in the trust, similarly to what I just explained in the previous slide. And you lease that land and use it in the same way as anyone else would, like if you own that land. And when it's time to sell your home, you only sell the house and the land remains in the trust. The next buyer will also meet that needs to meet that income requirement and buys that home for you at an affordable price. And they agree to the same sort of resale structure when they sell. And that is how the home is sold from buyer to buyer as long as the home exists. All right, go to the next slide. All right, so I'm gonna go over some of the benefits. So CLTs benefit the homeowner in several ways, and they are some of the most affordable homes you'll find in the Richmond area. And by affordable, we mean that they're ready for you to move in. They're not fixer-uppers. All of these homes have been either recently rehabbed or newly constructed. The CLT also allows the homeowner to build wealth over time. Though their monthly mortgage payments on the way that these homes increase in value is based on wages instead of the market. Support and assistance for homeowners and all of the other benefits of homeownership, pride, stability, and quality is also provided to the homeowners. CLTs benefit the community by improving the availability of quality, affordable homes. Most of our homes, as mentioned before, are built, or as I've indicated before, have been built on formerly vacant lots or are older homes that have been rehabbed. But the main advantage for the community is that no matter how expensive a neighborhood gets, there will always be affordable homes there will always be homes that are affordable to people making low to moderate incomes, and will help keep our neighborhoods diverse and vibrant. So to be eligible, you, one, must be income qualified. Two, agree to the terms of the ground lease. Three, qualified to lend with one of the lenders who will lend for a community land trust home. And four, you cannot own a home at the time of closing. So again, you cannot own one at the time of closing. All right. Now, these are income limits, and it's based on the number of people who will be living in your new home when you purchase it. There are 2 income limits, and this is based on funding and varies from house to house. And you cannot make more than this to be eligible to purchase a home. You will see that this is based on the AMI, and in this case, AMI means area median income. And these numbers are determined by HUD each year. For example, if you have a household of 2 people, and the household you want to purchase has an 80% AMI, you cannot make more, I'm so sorry, you cannot make more than $64,000 to the 450. Sorry, our numbers changed, so I want to make sure I'm reading the right numbers. But $64,450 in order to qualify for that home. Now, this is a simple map of where Maggie Walker Community Land Trust currently own homes. I am going to do a brief overview. We have some, as you can see, in Chesterfield, Randolph, Churchill, Northside, and Highland Springs, so Henrico, Richmond, and Chesterfield areas. And we do have some developing in Ettrick Landing and some other locations. And I'm also going to pass it over to Jen to give like a brief overview of what, you know, what are some of the layouts of those homes in those areas.
Yes, thank you, Tiffany. So in Churchill, we recently sold a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home located on Venable Street. That home was listed for $170,000, and it was 1,920 square feet. So that was a 2-story home. Over in the Randolph community, we sold a home today that 963 square feet, 2 beds, 2 baths. And that one was listed for $168,000. As Tiffany mentioned, in Chesterfield, Ettrick Landing is, I believe, is under construction or coming soon. Right now, over in the north side, we do not have any listings. In Highland Springs, we recently closed on a 3-bedroom, 2 full-bath rancher-style home. And that one, I believe, was listed at 135,000. And we do have some homes that are in Highland Springs that's currently under construction.
Thank you for that, Jen. Jen is always ready to go and prepared to help our applicants in any way that she possibly can. So please feel free to use Jen as a resource. She's also available to be anyone's realtor if you don't have one and you do need that kind of support, but you're also welcome to bring your own if you do already have one and are interested in remaining with that person. But Jen is a great resource. So if you have any additional questions on the realtor end, Jen can be very beneficial to you. Supportive. Okay. All righty. Thanks, Jen. Okay. So how does our program work? All right. So most of our program is shaped by our ground lease. So we're going to go over some of those basics. One is the ground lease is 99-year lease that's intended to go beyond your life and probably that of your children, hopefully not. But yes, it is well beyond a lifetime. It is fully inheritable and your home can be passed down to anyone via will or heir by state law. And MWCLT provides wills for their home buyers during the closing process free of charge as well. And we'll connect you with the person to do that. And if your heirs choose to live in the home as their full-time residents, they will either continue on the current ground lease or may have the option of starting a new ground lease. And if their heirs don't want to live in the house, they can sell it and get the same produce from this proceeds, not produce. We're not at the grocery store, but but we can get the same proceeds from the sale as they would have if you had sold it before you passed away. The ground lease fee is $100 and you will be invoiced for that 4 times a year, unless you want to pay it in full. This isn't a part of your escrow and you can either pay it in one chunk, like I mentioned, or in quarterly installments of $25 every 3 months. The board of directors can, however, raise that ground lease fee any year ending in 0 or 5. So currently, what year is it? 2022? 2022. So currently, the next year that can possibly happen is 2025. So it's a few years away. So don't be afraid. And then also the board is very, very aware of also additional like outside economic conditions. So I believe last year it was not raised due to pandemic and other reasons. So the costs remained the same. There are only, so in addition to it not being able to be raised until year 0 or 5, it cannot exceed the amount of the consumer price index. So it can never exceed $250 a year. And this is a great time for me to share a little more about our board of directors. So MWCLT is run by a board of directors that's composed of 1/3 homeowners. So if you're a homeowner, that is a potential opportunity for you to step into so long as there is an opening on the board. And it also consists of 1/3 community members and then 1/3 public members. 1/3 of people who own the homes, 1/3 of people who live in the areas, and 1/3 of people who are just public members. So if you're considering home ownership, I hope that at some point you'll consider joining the board because as this being a community land trust, we do want to ensure that it's being informed by and meeting the needs of the community. All right. So There are also committees that advises the board and their decision making. So that's also an opportunity for you all to get plugged in. All right, I said a lot, and this time I did well with my clicking while I was talking. Sometimes my talking outbeats my clicking, but I think I'm doing good today. So what's unique about the CLT, well, our CLT homeownership? One is it must be your primary residence. So for example, let's say you meet someone and one day decide that you want to move in with them. You would need to sell your home so that this is an opportunity for another family to own their home, and you can you cannot turn it into an investment property and rent it out. There are exceptions to that rule made on a case-by-case basis by the board. So some examples of that would include military deployment. You have family member who's, out on military leave and y'all have to, travel frequently. That's one. Another is a family situation that requires you to be out of your home for an extended period of time. So that could look like, my mom is sick, I need to go take care of her for this period of time. Talk to the board. That would be something that would also be an exception to having to occupy the home as your primary source of residence. Now, renovations. Renovations must be approved. You can move into your house, paint the walls, hardware, light fixtures, everything that you can't do when you're renting, you can do. However, when it comes to, and this even includes, you can put a fence up, you can get a shed on skids, you can hang your TV, install your shelves, and customize your home for you. But the renovations that are generally require consultation with the board are things that require a permit from your local jurisdictions. So that would include things like taking down a wall, putting on a deck. And there are a couple of reasons for this. One is we want to make sure that anything done to the home is done well and will be safe for future homeowners. And two, we want to make sure that any renovations are going to serve future homeowners. So for example, just because you like to bowl does not mean that, anyone moving in beyond you will be a fan of that. And so converting your first floor into a bowling alley would be one of those things that is like not beneficial for future homeowners and may also shift the value of the home. And the third thing is you will build equity. You will build equity from your down payment, your monthly mortgage payment, and your home's increase in value, which is based on wages instead of the market. And we'll go through an example of this in just a little bit, so hang tight. Oh, I did it again. I done talked too fast and my clicking was too slow. I do apologize. So I'm gonna give like 5 seconds for our visual people to see this visualization. And as soon as somebody give me the thumbs up, I'm going to go to the next slide. I'm waiting for y'all now. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. I saw your name and then you disappeared. Okay, Carlinda, thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Towers. All righty. Next slide. Clyde. All right. I'm goofy, y'all, so don't disregard. I will. I know it's like the evening of a not desirable time of the week. So, yeah. So, Jen, would you like to put in a plug on this home?
Yes. This beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath home is in the Highland Springs area. Was listed for $155,000 and it was 1,200 square feet.
Thank you, Jen.
And this was newly built, so you're welcome. This is one of our new construction homes.
And this home is actually a partnership with the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust and Project Homes. So Project Homes actually built this home, and our applicants were able to, unfortunately, this home is not available. All of the homes in in this slideshow are homes that have been sold through our program. And the homes that you see on our websites are also the homes that have been sold in our program. And I'm not sure if we have any of our current homeowners on the line or current applicants, who's been going through the process on the line. But who's like actually viewed any of our upcoming homes. But yeah, they're pretty much nice homes, and you just got to figure out which one suits your needs. Does someone unmute? Did you want to say something? Don't be scared now.
I'm sorry, I'm just actually coming on from work and I'm late. But if I can just talk with you afterwards just to ask some questions. Yeah. I just want to know what's the qualifications and stuff.
We're actually, one is you can ask. Two, there will be a recording on our YouTube. 3, it's on our website also. And 4, if you need help, I'm here for you after. Just let me know. If you still want that by the end, okay?
Yes, thank you so much, Tiffany.
No problem. Thanks for introducing yourself, Loretta. All right. Did we have any questions?
For a while. Yeah, we will have other opportunities to ask questions as well. And I'm gonna go into some of the numbers, but I'm gonna need Tiffany's help to change the slide. So I'll just holler at you when I need.
Really quick, just wanted to clarify for Carlinda in the chat, asking if there are any available homes. There are a bunch of homes that are under contract with several of our pre-qualified applicants. And we're having a lot of closings right now. But generally, they come and go pretty quickly. So there's not, we don't have a ton of available homes at any given time. But if you enter our applicant pool, if you apply and you get approved, you will get notified whenever a new home becomes available. So the best way to know when there's homes available is to apply.
And also, our current homeowners can decide to sell their homes at any moment. And like Flora said, we do have many under construction right now. The pace have slowed. We're in COVID, so construction has taken a bit longer than it would usually take. So it's usually been happening in just spurts. And as soon as we find out, we let you all know. So if anyone, I'm just gonna warn you now, please do not call asking when is the next home vote, because we don't know yet, because they're still under construction. So we're not gonna be able to give you the most accurate answer, because while we might have projected dates, again, like we're in the middle of COVID, we're still, construction has been taken a little, it's been more timely and costly. Not that you can't ask questions, but I do want to just let you know we will not have an answer for that if you are to ask that question right now. What is this? How does realtors representing clients get to know, what's the question? Get to know when the homes are available. So typically you inform your realtor. Once you inform your realtor is responsible for supporting you with submitting your contract. And also additional realtor duties that Jen can speak on.
No, as Tiffany mentioned, when you apply and you join the waiting pool as a prospective buyer, you will get an email notification from the CLT team advising you what properties are available and the price listed. There will also be some additional instructions on a possible open house contract deadline, and you would then be responsible for sharing that information with your realtor. What I've seen in the past is some of our buyers have brought their realtors to the open house, which I will hold on behalf of the MWCLT, and answer any questions that you as the buyer may have, or help the realtor navigate through the process of submitting your information for the property.
And the application is online, but however, if you have any challenges with accessing it online, whether you're not technically inclined or, because sometimes my son has to school me on the computer or the technology, but however, whichever way, if you need support, we've also in the past printed out applications for our applicants and have, had them pick them up. Or we can even mail an application if transportation and mobility is an issue. So you would just need to communicate your needs so that we can do our best to support you with that. Elizabeth, did you want to take us from here? Or did you want me to go into this piece?
I can go into it.
Thank
Are there
you.
any more questions? I'll go ahead, and then we have a few other opportunities for you all to ask questions later on in the presentation.
I think we can move forward with, because some of these questions are a little more personal.
Okay.
As far as personal questions about your personal information, please do not drop that in the chat. We are live streaming. I do not want your personal business on YouTube. And in addition to that, the lenders are, a few of our lenders are on the call. If you're not able to communicate on this call, their information, contact information and point person is on our website if it's a lender specific question. And if you have a question specifically for Maggie Walker Community Land Trust, you can reach out to Elizabeth Munyon moving forward with your inquiries. And her email, Flora will drop all of that in the chat. And it's also on the slideshow presentation. Okay, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. Next slide, please.
All right. Mm-hmm.
So, as you know, when you rent your home, you don't keep any of your rent payment when you move into another home. Click for next step. So this chart, this shows your monthly rent payment multiplied by 12 months, multiplied by the number of years that you are in your rental. So for the purpose of this example, we are going to look at paying $825 a month in rent. And then after 5 years, you've spent $49,500 in rent alone. And that's money that you do not get back. Next slide, please. So with home ownership, you keep all of the equity that you earn by paying the loan principal with your monthly mortgage payments. Next slide, please. Next slide, Tiffany.
I'm sorry, I clicked it like 3 times. It wasn't.
That's okay. And then you can click a little bit more because we'll go into the, or I'll tell you when to click. Okay. This is the amortization schedule. And if you like numbers, you can Google amortization schedule and put in your own interest rate, the amount of your loan, and the number of years that your loan is approved, or for a number of years on your loan. And then you can see how it plays out with your specific scenario. But for the purpose of this example, we are going to look at a home purchased on January 1st of 2019. This person purchased a home for $145 and put 3% as a down payment. We chose this example because the monthly payment would be about the same as an $825 rent. So notice after the first year, the total that you pay to the bank for your loan doesn't change. You pay the same amount every year, but what does change is what goes into principal and what goes into interest. As you pay your principal, which is the amount borrowed from the bank, things start to shift so that money starts to go into principal and less into interest. And I'm going to call on one of the lenders to help me answer this. What would happen if this person put one extra payment a year towards their principal? You can come off mute and
you would cut 7 to 8 years off of a 30-year term.
Yes, thank you. So it would be able to start to shift the balance between what's going on into interest versus what is in principal sooner. Let's see, my mouse is lost. Hold on. Whoops. So for the purpose of this example, we're assuming that you don't pay any extra payments and you're just paying your mortgage on time, just the amount due. After 5 years, you'd have accrued $16,225 of equity just from paying your mortgage on time. Next click, please. Thank you. If the buyer were to sell at this point, they would have $16,255 of equity that they have paid into the house instead of paying rent, plus the interest on the value of the house based on the increase of the AMI over those 5 years. Thank you. Can you click? Next click. One more. Thank you. So for those of you who don't like numbers as much, this graphic is a representation of how your mortgage works. So the big blue box represents what you are paying to the bank each year for your loan. And it's the same concept for your monthly mortgage payment, just a smaller number. But in year 2, most of your money is going to interest, with about a quarter of it going towards your principal. Next slide, please. So by year 15, can you click?
Oh, you want it clicked. Okay, cool.
So by year 15, you're paying the same amount over the course of the year, but now half of it is going to your principal and about half of it is going to your interest. So by year 25, assuming that you still have a mortgage and you didn't pay extra, most of your money is going towards your principal. So this concept holds true for most mortgages, not just conventional mortgages that we use in the CLT homes. Next slide, please. One more click. There we go. Thanks, Tiffany. So far, we've only been talking about money that you've borrowed from the bank, but another part of your monthly mortgage payment is called escrow. So as a homeowner, you will have to pay for insurance and taxes. Usually they're due every 6 months and they can be a pretty large sum of money. The bank wants you to make sure that you pay both your taxes and your insurance, because if you don't, you could lose your house. So instead of making you pay twice a year in 2 big sums, they divide those payments into an amount that you can pay monthly. And that becomes part of your monthly mortgage payment. And this goes into an escrow account. Then the bank uses your escrow account to pay the insurance company and the city or county which you reside. So the green box is the escrow. And while what you're paying back to the bank for your loan doesn't change, your insurance and taxes can fluctuate over time. And this is what can make your monthly payment go up and down from year to year, but it won't fluctuate as much as your rent would over that same time period, generally speaking. I'm going to give you all an opportunity to ask any questions. Just want to put in a plug for this house. This was our first Maggie Walker CLT home in Churchill. It's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, and a double veranda on the back. Does anyone have any questions?
Jen, would you like to add anything related to this home?
I think Elizabeth did a great job. As she mentioned, this was the first home in the MWCLT program. It listed for, I believe, $230,000. And in that area, homes are selling in the high $300,000 to $400,000 price point.
Thank you, Jen. We have questions going in the chat. The chat questions, give me a second. So, and Flora's been doing a great job answering. Sorry. All right, so someone asked about where to find the homes. And Flora dropped in the chat the home, like the link to this specific home and I think other homes on our website. And then what is the criteria of becoming an applicant And I think we're going to go into that. Well, we will go into that further in the presentation. So I'm going to hold that question. Well, Elizabeth will hold that question as she goes through. And what are the requirements to apply? And Elizabeth will also touch bases on that. So if you hang tight with us, you will get the answers to all you need. Ready, E?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All righty.
We're going to talk about taxes, fun stuff. So because MWCLT operates as a land bank, the land itself is tax exempt. And there's also state legislation that states that CLT homeowners cannot be taxed on the full market value of their home. They can only be taxed on what they can sell the home for according to the ground lease. So this is just another awesome feature of our program, that there's another affordability feature. And this is especially great this day and age with our high value real estate markets. Next slide. So you're responsible for the upkeep of your home and any necessary maintenance. So this is fixing broken appliances, leaky roof, broken window, things like that. And we do have resources that we can point you towards, but you're responsible for the general upkeep. But if something big happens, we can point you in the right direction. We won't leave you too high and dry. Next slide, please. So this is a question we get all the time, and we're going to dive into it. What happens when you sell your CLT home? And this is where you want to pay attention. We're going to go through an example of our resale formula. Next slide.
Sorry.
Yeah, just keep clicking through the next two. More. Thanks. So when you sell your home, you are entitled to get back, first and foremost, your cash equity if you put any of your money down on a down payment, your earned equity, and so that's the loan principal that you paid off by making your monthly mortgage payments, and then you are also entitled to your home's increase in value. And so this is based on the percentage increase in the area incomes while you have owned your home. Next slide. So this is one of our CLT homes that was sold. That was sold in the Randolph neighborhood. The home was appraised for $215,000, but we sold it for $145,000. So the homeowner borrowed less, had lower monthly payments, and a lower down payment than they would have if they purchased this home on the traditional market. Next slide.
So Elizabeth, you're gonna have to talk because this one makes me click 50 million times before.
Oh yeah, you can just keep clicking all the way through it.
Yeah. It's gonna take some time.
One more time with the big green box. There we go. So when you go to purchase your home, we start with your original sales price. And so in that example, it was $145,000. We calculate the increase in the area median income that has passed over the time that you've owned your home. So the years that this home was purchased, the AMI was $83,000. But when the family went to sell their home, we estimated that the AMI had increased to $90,200. So the AMI generally increases about 2% a year in the Richmond area. But in this scenario, over the 5 years this person lived in their home, the AMI actually increased by 8.41%. So it's about $7,000 more. And so we multiplied this original sales price by 8.41, which equals $12,200. So therefore the equity would be the $12,200 that the home has increased in value, plus any down payment put into the home, plus any principal that was paid through the mortgage payments. So historically, this has not been the case. If the AMI actually decreases, you will still be able to sell your home for what you purchased it for. Next slide, please. Thanks. So as a reminder, oops, back one. This is the amortization schedule that we went through earlier. And the homeowner has incurred $16,225 just by paying their mortgage. Next slide. So in this example, after 5 years, they have $16,225 of earned equity, plus that $12,200 from the increase in value of their home. And that creates a total of $28,425 in equity. Next slide. And so we'll see in this example that this is the difference that the family had made through home ownership compared with rental. So if they had been renting in this 5-year period, they would have lost about $50,000, but instead they have accrued $28,425 in equity. Next slide, please. So the CLT model makes it possible to keep these homes affordable for future owners, for families who may be in the same economic situation that you are in right now. So again, we take that original sales price of $145,000 and add on that $12,200 from the increase in the value of the home, and then we resell that home for about $157,200 and then plus some additional fees. So it's going to maintain permanent affordability over time. Next house, please. Next question. This is one of our houses in Chesterfield, and this was actually rehabbed. Some of our homes are brand new builds, and then another portion of our homes are rehabs, and they're all turnkey ready and high quality. Are there any questions about the resale formula?
Can you explain escrow just again, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Who's good at this?
Hey, we're actually, if you missed that part, you will need to rewatch that, because I do want to be respectful of everyone's time on this call.
Okay, don't ask any more questions. I'll just hold all my questions.
No, I'm so sorry. I know that we just went over that, and I know that we're set to end at 7:30, and I want to give space for people to ask questions. And it's also available, the recording will be available online for people to rewatch if they missed anything. And also we'll be on here after to answer any questions, so that people who did hear can leave. And then if you have any additional questions, that we can stay on and answer those. Does that work for you, Keisha? Would you like to stay on some additional moments to ask your questions towards the end?
No, ma'am, I'll just, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Did anyone else have any questions? I don't want to discourage anyone from asking questions. I just know our resale formula took a few moments of the call, and I don't want to take everyone's time to explain something that's probably over 5 minutes long.
I will say that when you go under contract, you have a meeting with an attorney, and they will go over this ground lease process in great detail with you. So you don't have to know everything about it right now. We'll definitely explain it many times before you go under contract.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All righty. So no more questions. We can go to the next slide. Okay. All right, I keep clicking next slide and it ain't going nowhere. So
no, is it frozen?
All right, now it is up and running.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk a bit about the application process. Next slide, please. So these are our lenders who lend to MWCLT. And so to purchase one of our homes, you must be pre-approved for a conventional loan through one of these lenders right here. And I think most everyone except CNF is on the call right now. So those are our loan officers that you will work with directly.
And if you have any, like, as you can see, there's a variety of offerings. So we won't tell you, you should go with Virginia Credit Union, because what would be helpful for you is to look at their website, call the lender, ask any questions, and figure out which one of them will work best for you. Because each of our lenders provides something uniquely different that may be more beneficial to you than another lender. And everyone, hey, Marlon.
Oh.
And everyone will make themselves, I believe everyone would make themselves available to answer any questions that you have. You can go to our website, and the point person, like the contact person, and their contact information is listed. It should have their contact phone number and email on there, and their title and their name. And I think each of them, some of them may have 2 points of contacts. So just so you know, for your awareness. And everyone's really eager to support you and figure out how, to best help you get approved for a loan, which oftentimes may be the most challenging part of the process. But everyone will work to be patient with you and answer your questions and do the best that we can to support you.
Thanks, Tiffany. So I'm going to go over the application process. So you have already completed the first step, which is attending one of our information sessions. And this is part of the requirement for our program. And then the next step is to submit an application. And like I said earlier, it can be found on our website, but if you have trouble, we can work with you to get you an application. And then in addition to your the paper application on our website, we need to have verification of your income to make sure that you are qualified for our program. And so the income verification documents include 3 months of your latest pay stubs or benefit statements. And this is for each household member over 18, unless they're a full-time student. So if they're in college or high school, anything like that, they're not required to submit those documents. But then we need 6 months of your bank statements for all accounts for all adult members. And then 2 of the most recent federal tax returns with matching W-2s or 1090s. And then any record of assets over $5,000 if you have that. And then I perform an income verification just to make sure that you're qualified for a program by being within our income limits. And really you can do these steps out of order, it doesn't really matter, but we like to recommend that people make sure that they are in our income limits before going through the process of applying through a pre-qualification, because it can sometimes be a lengthy process. But if you're already income qualified for a program, then you know that you can move forward with the MWCLT process. And then another thing that we require is an education course for home ownership education through a HUD approved program. And the most popular ones that we recommend going through are Home of Virginia, which is Housing Opportunities Made Equal. They have a home ownership class, Virginia Housing, and also Southside Community Development. And so you will finish that and get a certificate of completion with your home ownership education course. And then at that point, you enter our applicant pool. Once you're in the applicant pool, you will receive messages about Maggie Walker Homes as they come through our pipeline. And I will just clarify this real quickly. The applicant pool is different from the traditional wait list. It's not a first come, first serve program. How it works is every applicant has the opportunity to put a contract on a home. And from that point, if we have multiple offers on one home, we will utilize our buyer prioritization policy. And can Flora or Tiffany put that in the chat? This, and if Tiffany, if you want to do a plug for the home buyer.
I don't have the links accessible right now.
Okay.
So I'm either presenting or dropping the links because I can't do both.
No, that's
Flora
fine.
is our master person. So Flora has mastered the task of doing both, but I can't copy it from the presentation as long as I'm presenting.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the buyer prioritization policy itself?
So with the buyer prioritization policy, what we have sought to do is to make sure that this process is an equitable process, which also means that the people who are applying are picked in an equitable way to move forward with the purchase of one of the land trust homes. There are a few things on that buyer prioritization. The link can be found on our website, but also if you email us, we can send you that link, and then the link will, And so basically there are things like, are you a single parent household? Are you at risk of displacement? Have you lived in public housing or subsidized housing before? And there's other things on that checklist that will be considered and will be assigned a point based on if an applicant, like for instance, if a person has an accommodation that they require, a physical accommodation, and that household meets that need, that house style or design meets that need, then that also adds an additional point or points based on the numbers that's allocated to that applicant. And at the end, whoever has the most points based on that prioritization will be the person who moves forward with homeownership. And so we've constantly worked to make sure that it is like we're looking to see right now, we're just looking to see if this prioritization is actually helpful for the applicants on our list. Maybe later there'll be more additions, but right now we're in the process of just reviewing and assessing this process. But the goal is equity in the application process. Does that answer?
Yeah, thank you so much. Great job. So let's go on. Well, here's some tips for applying.
Let me go back.
There are a lot of organizations that we partner with for down payment assistance. So Home Housing Opportunities Made Equal. They offer down payment assistance for people making less than 80% of the area median income. There's also opportunities through Virginia Housing, through Southside Community Development, other local area nonprofits, and also your lenders are really great at working with you to provide additional funding and things like that. So definitely take advantage of all the opportunities that there are out there. It's a great idea to keep a personal file of your income documents, because it's not only going to be me that you send it to, your lenders and other financial counselors, if you have one, we'll need copies of those things as well. So just get organized early and keep everything in the same place. Get income qualified before with us before applying with the lender. I talked about that a little earlier. And then please stay connected with us as you go through the process. It can be complicated and confusing at points, so we're here to support you. And don't wait, apply now.
And sometimes, the process can be a little stressful. And so just remembering that, we're here to help. And kindness meets kindness, because we have also been used as like a punching bag sometimes, but we're just trying to help. We're just trying to help, and we'll do our best to make sure that, you get what you need, you're connected with the people that you need to be, And just, I don't know, giving us the same grace that you want us to give you in that process, because we're going to give you plenty. Okay.
Next slide. So this just lays out the next steps. So like we said earlier, the application is on the website, but you can also come pick one up or request one mailed to you. We'll need your income documents, your home buyer education certificate, and then the letter from your lender stating that you've been pre-qualified for a conventional loan. And then we're currently reworking our application submittal process so that it is through a secure drive. And so this will be any day now put up into a Google form submission that you will just upload your documents and it will be in our secure Google Drive. And then as well, you're able to fax your documents to the office, mail them in, or drop off hard copies to our office on Robinson Street. It's right next to the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in the Fan in Richmond.
I wonder why this looks weird today. You see that?
It's like zoomed in somehow. I don't know. It's kind of
okay.
Okay.
So it's 203 North Robinson Street, Richmond, Virginia, and it's near the Science Museum and the Art Museum. It's not far from both of them.
True.
And so it's in the downtown area. So yeah, I think downtown is the best way to describe it.
It's the Fan. It's not downtown.
Great.
It's the Fan.
Great, because I will get you lost quickly.
Okay.
Thanks, Flora. I have no sense of direction. Give me an address, it will go on GPS, and that's all I gotta say.
Again, these are just more resources for credit counseling and the housing resource line, both great resources.
All right. So this is the contact information which will be updated to Elizabeth and Flora being more as the point of contact for you all. And the emails are right here. You can also find that on our website, I believe. And yeah, you can also give us a call. I believe that might also be on the website. And we will answer your questions. If you have any related to your application or any parts of the application process, really. And there is going to be a poll before because I saw some people dropping off, maybe just one person, 1 or 2 people, but we do have a poll towards the end to just confirm or verify that you did make it through our entire presentation. And this is a part of your application process. So yeah. Okay. So did you want to go ahead and do the homeownership to bridge program? Homeownership bridge program.
Oh, really quickly, there is a question in the chat about the minimum income. And I will answer that by saying, sorry, let me show my face. That there is no minimum income for the MWCLT program. But you do need to be able to qualify for a mortgage loan, and they do look at your minimum income. But that's not our policy, that's their policy, the lenders. So
right.
They can speak on that if they need to.
That's for our traditional homeownership program, but there is a minimum for our bridge to own program. And Elizabeth will touch on that piece unless one of our lenders wants to speak on that minimum that Flora was mentioning.
I think when you're talking about a minimum income, I don't know that most of us as lenders truly have a minimum income. It really is tied into what are you able to qualify for. So if you want a certain sales price, you might not be able to qualify if your income is less than a certain amount, but that's based on your credit score as well as your debt to income ratio. So I don't think that we have any minimums, but just qualifying for the loan by itself kind of establishes a minimum, but it's really going to be a minimum that is unique to each individual purchaser. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Mary. That was a great explanation. Okay. Elizabeth, did you want to take us away?
I wanted to see if anyone has any questions for the lenders while we already have them here. They're a great resource.
Only 2,000 in your account. No, that's not true. That you can, the question is, I heard you can only have 2,000 in your account. That is not true, because otherwise, how else will you afford your down payment and then the additional things that you may need? Yeah, that would.
Tiffany,
Huh?
there may be a requirement when it comes to trying to qualify for either the mortgage or for grant money. Sometimes we may want to look for what we call cash reserves. So that may be some of what, someone may be hearing in some of the information. In other cases, if you go to classes, many times they will tell you, you really should have X amount of dollars in your bank account. And when they're giving that information, it's in relationship to any leftover down payment and or closing costs you may be responsible for. And again, any cash reserves. And then when it comes to grants, like if you're going to go through Housing Opportunities Made Equal, they are going to require that you have a minimum of 1 month cash reserves, which means 1 month of the new house payment sitting in your bank account after you've paid out everything. And so they're going to want to see that. And I think that may be where some of the information's coming from. But again, you need to understand it is highly dependent upon each individual buyer and their own situation and circumstances as to, are you using grants? If so, where are they coming from? What are their guidelines? If we're going to try to get you approved for the loan, if we're using an automated underwriting system, how can I structure it to get that approval we need? And then, for some buyers, I may come back and say, you're going to need at least 3 months of cash reserves. For others, we may not need any. But again, it is very individualized based on debt ratio, income, and most importantly, credit score.
With that, Mary, would you mind telling us what kind of credit scores lenders are looking for right now?
Sure. At Town Bank and with Virginia Housing, we have a minimum credit score of 620. And I think that's pretty much where most of the other lenders are as well. Having said that, keeping in mind that just because we'll do a credit score to 620 doesn't mean we're able to get you approved at that. Because again, it comes back to automated underwriting systems that we're using, other guidelines for the programs that we're using, because for Maggie Walker Trust, the programs are very limited specifically to properties in land trusts. And so there's a risk associated with that, which then causes us as lenders on our loan programs to have some additional requirements. So I may be able to, get somebody qualified at a 680, but maybe I can't at a 620. So again, it's very individualized. And I know that some of the lenders on this call may have some more flexibility in their loan programs than other lenders have in terms of where can they stretch. But 620 is a bare minimum. I think it's realistic to say, ideally, with most of us, to get this through the automated systems, you need to really be pushing for a score of 680 or better.
Hey, do we have any additional lenders who wants to speak to their credit requirements?
Yeah, hi. Oh, I'm sorry, Tiffany. This is Viva Moore. Mary just spoke that perfectly about the 620 minimum credit score. That is applicable for Fulton as well. But I also wanted to just make an important distinction that we do have an option that is available even for clients who may not actually have a credit score. Now, that's not to say someone who has multiple negative credit items and does not have a credit score. For someone really and truly who just does not use a lot of credit and does not have a credit score established, there is an option, but that's where it's going to be super important to have on-time rental history, utility history, et cetera. So that's something that if anyone has that situation and has questions, of course, any of the lenders will be happy to kind of talk you through, but that option that I just described is specifically available at Fulton Mortgage.
Thank you. Did we have any other lenders who wanted to speak to that? And then we have additional questions in the chat. It said something about married couples got the money, one got the credit. How does that work? That's a great question. Did any of our lenders want to answer that question? Power couple making it happen.
It can work. It can work. It just depends on the strength of the overall application packet. Mary said it best. I mean, pretty much it all comes down to the lenders are looking at the ability to qualify that individual candidate, and each lender is going to have slightly different credit criteria. So it's best to have an individual conversation one-on-one with your lender of choice and kind of talk through scenarios to see what's going to work best for you with that particular lender, and then we can guide you from there.
And I speak to you lenders and to the whole team. Again, this is Alicia Venable. I'm the young lady that my main income is SSI, and I've been on it since 2002. I went through the first home buyer program at Southside Community Center over a couple of years ago. I got all the way to the end, and the bank would not approve me. At the time, my credit score was 680. At the present time, my credit score is it fluctuates because I have about 5 or 6 credit cards. I got student loans on my credit repair, on my credit karma is what I use. And they sent me a letter, the Department of Education sent me a letter, said they was going to take that amount off because they qualified me to get my student loans taken off of my credit. And so my concern is doing the program over because I got my certificate of completion of the first home buyer program. So if I do it over and get my credit score up to 620, and then I get to the end of the program and my income my stable income, which is SSI, I'm a contractor as well. I own a couple of businesses and I'm a contractor. And so I do have the application qualifications. I do have the information available. I've been in RHA since 2010, and my payment history is.
I'm so sorry, Alicia. I'm so sorry. I don't want to rudely cut you off, and I also want to protect your privacy. Again, this is being streamed on YouTube. This is being streamed. So Elizabeth, I just really, and even through the application process, we do our due diligence to protect everyone's privacy and information throughout our application process. So if you have more specific personal questions to getting through the program, Elizabeth or myself at this time, even Flora, can assist you with those more personal questions. And if it's related to lending, then you can directly contact one of the lenders or many of them to ask them how best you should navigate. We also, as mentioned before, there's the Commonwealth Catholic Charities credit counseling. Also, Home of Virginia also has a credit counseling, and many of the lenders on the line, they also have financial literacy and additional resources that may be helpful for you. in answering your questions. But my best reference is reach out to Commonwealth Catholic Charities first, meaning as an easier reference to think about, because I just threw out a lot, and they can give you some directive or home of VA.
All right, thank you.
No problem. And again, I did not mean to rudely interrupt. I just want to protect your privacy because this is being live streamed. Yes.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Did we have any other questions in the chat floor?
Just a bunch about home availability. Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, the best way to become notified when there's a new home is to become an applicant. And we also, and you know, any questions relating to loans, we encourage you to get in touch with one of our lenders off the call, especially if it involves your personal credit history or anything like that. Once again, the contact information for all of our lenders is on our website. I'm putting the link in the chat one more time for y'all. And in terms of rental properties, I think we're just about to talk about that.
Yes. So, and then the judgments for the vehicles, I think that's a very generic question. So Viva or Mary or any of our lenders, would you all like to answer that question? Because I saw that pop up a few times.
It really comes down to being able to get the loan qualified. Just because someone has a negative item on the credit, it doesn't automatically discount being able to do a mortgage for someone. So it's a case-by-case basis.
If it's filed though as an actual judgment, we do have to identify, is it going to actually be lienable in the state of Virginia on real estate property? Some judgments are filed in the general district court, some are filed in the circuit court, and always get mixed up. But in one of those courts, the judgments are not lienable. So if you've got a judgment and you can prove it was filed in the right court and it's not lienable, then it's up to the lender to make that determination if they really believe that the judgment should be paid off. Most judgments are going to be lienable, and if they're lienable, they must be paid off, because as a lender, we can't do a mortgage loan where a judgment would become a lien on the property, which would take first place. So if you've got a judgment that was filed 2 years ago and you're getting ready to close on a mortgage, because that judgment is 2 years old, that's going to take priority over every other lien on the property. And mortgage lenders will never do a loan where they can't be in first mortgage lien position. So judgments are a different issue than collections.
Thank you for that, Mary and Viva. Oh, go ahead. There's someone.
Oh, that was me. I just wanted to be mindful of the time and maybe think we should do the end poll. And then if folks want to stay on to learn about our home ownership bridge program.
Yes, that sounds like a great plan.
I will go ahead and launch the poll and answer one quick question. The time frame from start to finish for an applicant that has their paperwork and pre-approval letter. So I'm assuming start to finish in terms of the application getting done.
So I'm usually processing application. If you have every box checked, my turnaround is 5 to 7 business days at the most, but depending on how many people are applying at a given time, it's around that time. But again, the houses kind of come all at once, or we don't really know when they're coming. So the actual time frame of getting into a house really depends on when the homes are available.
It also depends on what kind of home you're looking for. If you just want any home in any place, you know, you probably would be able to get one pretty quick. But if you're looking for a specific type of home or specific number of bedrooms, specific neighborhood, you might be in the waiting pool a little bit longer.
For some time. So
yes. And I have just launched this quiz poll, which is not being graded. Your answers will not be counted for or against you. This is just to see whether we did a good job with you know, conveying all this information, because I know it's a lot. So there's 4 questions. One is just asking whether you plan on submitting an application. And the other 3 are general, you know, the kind of very basic questions that are like how the homeownership model works, so that we know that we got it through to you. So please take a few minutes to answer these 4 questions and then hit submit at the bottom. If you can only see one of the questions, make sure you scroll down to see the other ones. And once again, this is not being graded. It is not counting for you or against you. So don't worry about it. If you can't think of an answer, just pick something random.
I don't see it. What I see is home ownership bridge program. That's what I see on the screen.
Okay, don't worry about it if you don't see it. It's not a big deal at all.
Okay.
Yeah, it is not, like I said, it's not being graded. It's not being recorded. It's just for our own knowledge.
And to go back to that question about the timeline of the application, it also depends on, you know, a lot of it's going to depend on, like Elizabeth said, you getting your documents in addition to the piece where your realtor will be plugging in as far as like submitting a contract and stuff. We have no control over when your realtor submits a contract. If your realtor submits a contract, you will have to communicate with your realtor to ensure that they are submitting those things in a timely manner. And so if you're interested in a home, usually, as we mentioned before, you'll be notified. The wait list will be notified. And it is your due diligence to share that notification with your realtor if you are interested, so that they can submit your contract. Because I've been yelled at before for not considering a person and their realtor never submitted a contract. So yes.
All right, looks like we got most folks' answers. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the poll and go over the answers real quick, just really quick. So quick. So first question, are you planning on submitting an application? Like plenty of people said, yeah, right away, which is really exciting for us. More work for Elizabeth. Sorry, Elizabeth. Some said soon, but not right away. Totally understandable. And some need some more information first. Once again, our contact information, I will put in the chat. Myself, and Elizabeth, and Tiffany. And then these knowledge questions. So true or false, MWCLT homes are fully inheritable. They can be passed down to your heirs regardless of income, as long as they will use the property as their primary residence. All of you got that right. So good job. That's true. Question 3, what equity will you get back when you sell your MWCLT home? Your down payment, your loan principal you've paid off through monthly mortgage payments, your home's increase in value, or all of the above? And that answer is that all of the above. You get back everything involved, all the equity you built up by paying off your loan, as well as your home's increase in value and your down payment. And finally, question 4, how do MWCLT homes increase in value? Based on the market rate appraisal, based on the increase in the Richmond area median income, or they do not increase in value. So this is actually based on the increase in the Richmond area median income. So that is that that's what that AMI stands for. The average income in the Richmond region is used to calculate how how much your home will cost when you sell it. So good job, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Flora. Elizabeth, did you want to get us started on the lease to home?
Yes.
And anyone not interested, you can hop off the call now. But if you are interested in learning more about it, then please feel free to stay on the call.
Okay, so I'm going to briefly tell you a little bit about our home ownership bridge program, which is our lease to own program. And it was designed, we're going on about 2 years this summer, as a way to help participants get from renting to home ownership in about a year. And how it works is it was designed for folks who didn't quite yet qualify for a mortgage, but are otherwise pretty ready and determined to get into a home in our land trust program. They work closely with Commonwealth Catholic Charities to do a credit counseling and financial management plan. There's credit monitoring services that you do on your own, and then you meet with your counselor regularly and have a check-in with Maggie Walker staff to work on your progress. This program serves households making around 50% of the area median income. And rent is $958 a month, but $500 of that rent goes into an escrow account for when you purchase your home. So you're already putting money aside for the home that you will move into. And just to make this clear, that the home that you're renting is the home that you're planning on moving into once you're eligible for the mortgage. Let's see, Tiffany, can we do the next slide, please? So these are the applicants. Oops, that one. Yep, thanks. These are the qualifications. So again, we look at families, households where the credit score is around 600 and they're unable to qualify for a conventional loan. There is that maximum income requirement that they must be below 50% of the AMI. But the annual income minimum is at about $38,320. We're looking for people who have a desire to live in the city of Richmond and specifically in Church Hill, and have the potential to be mortgage ready within a 1 year time and have been actively seeking home ownership opportunities. And unfortunately, we do not have any of these homes available at this time. We have had 4 homes constructed for this program, but we are not accepting any more currently, but hopefully soon we will have more homes available in this program. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have any specific questions about this program. And yeah, I think that's all I have on that. Tiffany, did you have anything else?
I was talking and didn't realize that my thing was on mute. But yeah, does anyone else have any additional questions? If not, then we can wrap up this call.
Victoria wanted to know when more homes would be ready for this program, and the answer to that is whenever the City Affordable Housing Trust Fund decides to fund us again, which we will see. Getting funding for affordable housing is really difficult. There's a lot of competition. And so it's a struggle, but we are committed to it.
Alrighty. But thank you, Flora. You know what? Thank you, Flora. Thank you, Elizabeth. And thanks to all of our lenders on the call, if they're still here, and our realtor for supporting the applicants on today's call. And I hope you all, everyone on this call, have a great evening. And you can go take care of your family, take care of your needs, and reclaim your time as needed.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for, or not weekend, work week. I wish it was the weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Right.
You can tell I'm
Thank
on
you for the
vacation.
information.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Hey,
Good night.
Flora and Elizabeth, can you stay on for like literally 1 second, 1 minute? 1 minute.
Yeah, let me just end the
Okay.
stream really quickly.
Okay. Thank you.